Hello there.
As you may or may not know, Obi Wan Kenobi is one of my favorite Jedis that were in Star Wars, the original trilogy, and in the prequels. Besides Obi Wan, I liked Mace Windu, I liked Plo Koon, I liked Yoda. And those were my top Jedi that I really enjoyed. Obi Wan has a special part in my heart because I went to go see Star Wars, the original movie, before it was A New Hope, in theaters, and Obi-Wan just he was the man. He was the sand wizard, you know? He was it. I wanted to be like him. He trained Luke a little bit. And I was so sad when he joined the Force in the original Star Wars movie. But he came back. Ewan McGregor, I thought, in the prequels did such an excellent job as Obi Wan Kenobi. And when they did the Obi-Wan series, I know a lot of people were disappointed with it, but I thought that it was good. There were some parts I would have taken out and probably used some of the legends if I had my way and I was the Disney exec who was in charge of Obi-Wan, the Obi-Wan series, or Lucasfilm, I should say. I would have taken out some of the things they did and some of the actors and created it more aimed toward the legends. But I've heard rumors now that they are not allowed to touch any of the legend knowledge base or any of the books or comics or anything dealing with the legends. Disney does not want to touch it for some unknown reason, and I don't know why, because it would be such a huge blockbuster, I think, if they did it right, using the legends. Anyway, I saw an article today that was dealing with Obi Wan Kenobi and stating that he had 6 force powers in Legends that nobody really knew about. So I wanted to go over with you and see what your thoughts were. So let me share my screen with you. Okay, as you can see, it says 6 remarkable force powers Obi-Wan Kenobi had in Legends, but not in canon. I wonder why. Obi-Wan Kenobi has always been shown as one of the more powerful Jedi in Star Wars canon, but what force abilities did he possess in Legends? Throughout Star Wars canon, Obi-Wan Kenobi has always been shown as a powerful Jedi, but what abilities did he possess in the stories of Legends? The first hint of Obi-Wan Kenobi's force abilities in canon came during the original Star Wars in 1977. Upon entering Tatooine's Mos Eisley spaceport, Kenobi's Jedi mind trick on the Imperial Guards gave audiences a first hint at the Jedi Master's abilities.
Let me see your identification.
You don't need to see his identification.
We don't need to see his identification.
These aren't the droids you're looking for.
These aren't the droids we're looking for.
He can go about his business.
You can go about your business.
Move along.
Move along. Move along.
Since then, Obi-Wan's powers have only further fleshed out by the rest of the original trilogy and the prequels. From a variety of Force telekinesis techniques to being able to appear as a Force ghost, Obi-Wan's powers are not to be scoffed at. However, Star Wars Legends showed Obi-Wan, among many other characters like Luke Skywalker, using a variety of Force powers from both the light and dark sides, and here is everyone explained. Let's get to it. Number 6, Obi-Wan possessed telekinetic powers like Force Crush and Force Repulse. And we saw that in Revenge of the Sith when him and Anakin had their hands out, and you can see the picture right there of him and Anakin trying to push each other. So that's in canon also. While Obi Wan Kenobi's telekinetic force abilities have been shown in Star Wars canon, especially the Jedi final battle with Darth Vader in Obi Wan Kenobi series, Legends gave him much more power in the area as seen in 2003 Star Wars Clone Wars cartoon. One such increase in Kenobi's telekinetic force abilities was his use of Force Crush. This has been seen a few times in Star Wars canon by other characters such as Luke Skywalker, using the Force to crush a Dark Trooper during the Mandalorian Season 2 finale. Kenobi exhibited this power in Legends using the Force to crush 2 assassin droids. So, is the Clone Wars, are they not canon now? I don't know. Let me know. I don't know. Are the Clone Wars not canon? Another Force ability that Kenobi possessed in Legends was Force Repulse. This ability was used during a battle with a Jedi bounty hunter named Dirge. In Star Wars, the Jedi are a race of sentient humanoids made up of expanding tentacles, meaning they can heal at will and use their bodies to envelop foes. Dirge attempted to do this to Kenobi during a fight between the two, smothering the Jedi with his tentacles. Kenobi, in order to escape, used Force Repulse to destroy the bounty hunter's body from the inside out. Kenobi escaped, yet Dirge managed to survive the attempt. Number 5. Obi-Wan was able to absorb energy into himself. Another Legends power that Kenobi possessed was the ability to absorb energy within his body through the Force. This ability is often named using the blanket term Tutamenus. Energy consumption of any kind was taught by the Jedi in Legends under the name Tutamenus, something that Kenobi was shown to be adept in. The ability is often used for heat sources, such as blasters or lightsabers, in which Jedi can absorb the heat energy within themselves and fuse it, sometimes channeling it away completely. Kind of like Darth Vader, I guess. He did that a couple times. In Legends, Obi-Wan uses power against Dirge in another conflict between the two. At one point in Legends, Dirge attempted to roast Kenobi alive. The Jedi then used his powers of Tutamenus to absorb the heat within him, surviving the attempt on his life. Another instance in which Kenobi showed his mastery of Tutamenus came when he used the Force to absorb many blaster bolts from a droideka. Interesting. Number 4. Obi-Wan had learned the secret of Jedi battle meditation. One of the more prevalent Force powers of Star Wars Legends is battle meditation, something that Star Wars canon has almost wholly neglected. Battle meditation centered on the usage of the Force to bolster an individual's abilities as well as their allies. From boosting morale, stamina, and even battle prowess as a whole to decreasing the combat effectiveness of any opponent on the field, battle meditation was shown as an extremely effective Force tool for the Jedi during many Legends skirmishes. According to Wikipedia, where Obi-Wan's Legends abilities are explained, the Jedi mastered battle meditation by 0 BBY. This would be around the time of A New Hope on Star Wars timeline. As is known from the film, Star Wars canon did not show any hint of Kenobi using or even knowing how to employ battle meditation, something only attributed to the Jedi Force's repertoire in Star Wars Legends. Number 3. Obi-Wan even possessed dark side powers. A major dark side Force ability during Legends was that rare, it has only ever been named Injure Kill. This ability was said to consist of Force users employing their power to somewhat alter their target's bodies, injuring or killing them in the process. The specifics around how the ability worked remain unknown, yet some Jedi knew how to employ these abilities. The Jedi could only do so through touching their target, though the Sith were known to be able to use this dark technique telepathically. I think Darth Sidious did it to Padme, and that's how she passed away. In Legends, it's said that Obi-Wan Kenobi knew this technique. However, due to Kenobi's good nature and dedication to the Jedi Order, There are no known instances where Jedi use this dark side abilities as mentioned in the movie trilogy sourcebook. This tracks with Star Wars canon, with Kenobi one of the few Jedi shown not to be tempted by the dark side through the Skywalker saga. Number 2. Obi-Wan's Force heal power was forgotten in Revenge of the Sith. An interesting power that Kenobi knew how to use in Star Wars Legends was Force heal, something that would have drastically changed the events in Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith if continued into canon. In the 2002 Star Wars The Role-Playing Game, Kenobi was shown to have mastered Force heal. In Legends, Kenobi was known to use this ability to heal his own injuries or fatigue, something he later mastered enough to be able to heal others. If this power had been adapted into Star Wars canon in regard to Obi-Wan Revenge of the Sith, would have been very different. The crux of Anakin's turn to the dark side was that Palpatine could save Padme from death. If Obi-Wan had known the ability to Force heal, Anakin could have turned to him rather than Palpatine, essentially ending the Skywalker saga before it began. For this reason, Star Wars not making this ability for Obi-Wan canon makes a lot of sense. I disagree, and I'll tell you in a bit. Number 1. Obi-Wan could use Force stealth. Also noted by the rulebook of Star Wars The Role-Playing Game, Kenobi could use the Force for stealth. The Jedi would shroud his own Force abilities, making them undetectable to other Force users. While doing so, Kenobi could still detect the Force usage of his opponents, meaning his stealth capabilities in Legends were greatly amplified. All this just goes to show how Star Wars greatly delved into the idea of the Force in Legends, especially in regards to how Jedi could use it to bolster their already powerful abilities. So there are Obi-Wan's 6 Force powers that he had in Legends, but not in canon, sorta, kinda. He used telekinesis to crush and Force repulse. Like we said again in the Revenge of the Sith, he used it with Anakin when they were inside the control room fighting each other, and they used it and they blew each other back, you know? Absorbing energy, I didn't see Obi-Wan using it, but you see Darth Vader use it in The Empire Strikes Back when Han shoots a blaster at him and he gets it with his hand. And then in the Force Awakens, I guess, somehow Kylo Ren stops the bolt, but that's not really absorbing it. So, and then the secret of battle meditation, you see Qui-Gon Jinn do that in the Phantom Menace when he's fighting Darth Maul. When the red wall comes up between Qui-Gon and Darth Maul, you see Qui-Gon go into a meditative state there for a second. I don't know if that would be considered battle meditation or just plain meditation, but Qui-Gon does meditate. And then Obi-Wan using dark side powers. I don't even know why they said that. I mean, you don't really see him except in Revenge of the Sith when he uses a Sith lightsaber technique to chop off Anakin's arm and leg in Revenge of the Sith, you know, when he's like, I got the high ground. And he uses that technique, which was a Sith technique, and it was looked down upon by the Jedi. But apparently he didn't get in trouble with it because the Jedi were all gone. But that's about the only dark side power in canon that you see Obi-Wan using. Well, it's not really a canon power. It's a technique. And his Force heal. So if you remember when Luke got attacked by the Sand People, he's laying there on the ground. Obi-Wan comes out making the noise of the creature, and he leans down and he puts his hand on Luke's head. And I think that he was using Force heal to heal Luke. I mean, Luke got beat up by those sand people pretty bad, and all of a sudden Luke's like up and rearing to go. So my personal opinion is that Obi-Wan used Force heal on Luke while he was laying there on the ground. It said Revenge of the Sith would have been very different if Anakin knew he could turn to Obi-Wan with the ability to Force heal, but that's not what Anakin was worried about. He was worried that Padme was going to die and that Palpatine had the ability and the knowledge to bring her back from the dead. Force heal could only heal somebody. It couldn't bring somebody back from the dead, where he was looking for Palpatine to bring Padme back from the dead because he thought that Palpatine had that knowledge, which we know now was very flawed. Obi Wan Kenobi could use Force stealth. Well, if you'll remember, going back to Star Wars, the original one, when he's sneaking down to the power generators to release the Millennium Falcon from their tractor beam, he used that, and he used deception too, but basically he got there using stealth because the whole Death Star was full of people. He couldn't have gotten through there not being seen without using something to get to the tractor beam power generators. So I think he used Force stealth there. Also, if you are knowledgeable about canon, let me know if the Clone Wars series is not canon now, because I was under the understanding that it was the whole series. I mean, Dave Filoni did that whole series, and he's working on Ahsoka. It's just following basically what happened in Clone Wars and Rebels. So let me know. I don't know. I mean, I thought it was. Maybe you know something I don't. Anyway, those are the 6 Force abilities that Obi-Wan had in Legends and canon, maybe. So, but if you're interested in any other Obi-Wan stuff, check out this video here. May the Force be with you always.